In 1461, England was in the throes of a bloody conflict between the York and Lancaster families, with political differences embodied in bloody conflicts, known as the War of the Roses. In this context, the Battle of Towton took place, which became a symbol of the bitter struggle between the two families. This battle played a decisive role in determining the fate of the English throne, as the clashes erupted in an atmosphere charged with emotions and tragedies. On the morning of the battle, the York troops gathered under the banner of King Edward IV, while the Lancaster troops stood waiting for the battle. The flags were fluttering in the air, and the atmosphere was filled with anxiety and anticipation. The soldiers exchanged looks filled with determination and readiness, each of them knowing that the battle would change the course of history. Despite the pressures of the battle, the York leaders showed deep enthusiasm and readiness to defend their rights. The leaders gathered in a small tent where they devised a complex plan. Their voices were rising, their thoughts were flowing, their eyes were focused on achieving victory. With the drums beating, the battle broke out suddenly. The troops rushed towards each other, swords clashing, and horses trampling the ground in a terrifying roar. The screams of the men rose, and the moment was pulsating with excitement and fear. The soldiers exchanged blows in a bitter struggle, and the sounds of swords clashing were heard everywhere. Armors glistened in the sun, and blood flowed on the ground, expressing unspeakable horrors. The battle was a scene of chaos and horror. In the midst of the chaos, one knight stood bravely. He fought like a tiger, facing the enemy fearlessly, and his determination inspired those around him. His screams urged his comrades forward, and with each blow he dealt, he restored hope to their souls. Thanks to strategic planning, the York commanders were able to use the terrain to their advantage. The troops moved in unison, like a snake coiling around its prey, confusing the Lancastrian ranks. Those moments were filled with tension as victory loomed. As the battle intensified, the situation began to change. The Lancastrian ranks disintegrated under the pressure of York's organized attack. The atmosphere was charged with tension as the soldiers began to feel despair, causing some to retreat at a critical moment. As the Lancastrian forces retreated, the dominant sound was that of victory. York's victory was announced, and the soldiers celebrated with cries of joy. It was a historic moment, as everyone realized that the battle had been decided, but the price had been high. Amidst the joy, there were also moments of sadness. Many lives were lost, and tears were streaming down faces. Everyone realized that victory had come at the cost of lives, and that war leaves only destructive scars. As the battle ended, the victorious troops began to return to their villages.